But finally, we can actually let the games do a little bit of the talking as we head into game number 1 of this best of 3. In the top right as the red Zerg for Team Liquid, he is Elazer.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left from Finland, he is Serral. Joining Basilisk, of course, recently. Still funny to see him in that new jersey after being part of Team ENCE for such a long time, but I mean, he's looking good.
Yeah, Basilisk with a ton of fantastic pickups, great addition to the scene, basically in the last year, right? So we do have them both going for hatch first.
Yeah.
Again, the 12 pull kind of in question with the amount of rush distances that is actually valuable or better for that. You can throw it in as far as just mixing it up and kind of catching your opponent off guard, but then we also had the patch kind of take out the possibility of that hidden spine crawler.
Yeah, and the drone micro is also a little bit more reliable. At this level of play in Zerg versus Zerg, it already was rather uncommon to go for a lot of cheese just because the opponents are so good at defending it, right? We obviously see it mixed in from time to time, but with the new maps, with the new drone micro that you can pull off, with the new hatchery range, the vision range that is, I don't suspect we're going to see a whole lot of cheese. Honestly, Serral in the past didn't really lose to early game aggression that much anyways. Every once in a while, I guess we've had like a 12 pool going up against like a hatchery first, right? Which can kind of result in a build order loss. But I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of that in the best of 3.
Well, certainly not to start things off. And while we wait for things to get a little more heated, you know, they got the thirds up, and then usually that's when you go in the Baneling Nest. And we'll talk about the mind games perhaps a bit after that. I do want to just go ahead and try and highlight how much Serral would usually be very confident against Elazer. The last time that he took, Elazer took a map off of Serral was 2020. So they've played 7 series, and no maps are taken by Elazer, which, you know, people would usually also be like, really, ZVZ? Like, volatile? How is that possible? But Serral was incredibly consistent and really had time, I think, to perfect his ZVZs. Whenever it revealed a weakness, he would get in there and he would fix it. But usually not in such a short amount of time, again, showing some weakness. Literally yesterday and the day before, can you fix that within 48 hours? And Elazer showing a lot of that confidence. I mean, this is the time to finally get that map, you know, after 3 years.
Yeah, we'll see what Elazer decides to go for here as both players are opening up in the exact same way. Quick third hatcheries, drones on the back of it, a small group of Zerglings to attack, but also to defend. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Normally what we see is well, there you go, a Baneling Nest on both sides of the map, and then Evo Chambers in a conventional game of StarCraft 2 usually go up as soon as that Baneling Nest finishes. Now, Serral will likely do so. I wonder what Elazer is planning.
Yeah, exactly. Elazer has shown, as you were talking about Home Story Cup, the non-evolution chamber, he did throw it in his group actually for Katowice. It did not look particularly good versus Solar, but then actually worked a little bit later on. Quite a few lings on the way for Serral at this point, looking to provide some aggression. Sometimes they call this a bit of a micro test, that sometimes it can cause either a bad reaction, like an underdefense from the other Zerg player, or even an overreaction, which then gives you the opportunity to build more drones.
Elazer right now sees those Zerglings leaving as well, and that is very important. That's going to give him a little bit of time to make some additional links himself as well. He's morphing in some Banelings there too, and Serral is on the other side of the map as well, so that Overlord, I don't think, is going to scout those Banelings here for Serral. Yeah, this is going to be a micro test, right? Are you on point? Well, first off, the Queen in a lot of trouble already, and she does end up going down. Not a bad start right here for Serral.
No, not at all, actually. This is a fantastic... Oh, okay, there's the trade there, but Serral also gets 2 Banelings into the naturals. Elazer paying attention at the last second, still loses 4 drones, and of course that Queen, and there's a lot more lings still at play. Not enough for Serral to think he can really do anything. He was building some drones behind this as well, right? Not very committed, and just building some defensive Banelings as he is the first one to throw down a Roach one.
Yeah, this is exactly the start you're looking for here as Serral. You want to be able to pick off that Queen because that's going to slow down the Zergling and the drone production. You want to be able to just slow down your opponent in any way that you can. There's, however, now a counterattack from Elazer. Can he maybe pull the same trick on the opponent? There are a couple of Banelings, okay, decent connections, but the Queen is going to go down.
Yeah, a little bit of revenge there from Elazer. What I am more concerned about, though, actually, that's Serral grabs a Queen with the lings that are still on the other side of the map. Also a couple of drones, but his follow-up Roach Horn is what I also was going to talk about. But hey, this apparently is keeping on going. Another Queen is going to lose her life. More drones will fall here, and Elazer will only just now come back to deal with this.
I wonder if Serral's just going to flood right now.
Exactly,
right? Like,
yeah.
There's not a whole lot of units that you can make. You really need those Queens. Well, there's one available again at the third base, but she's also going to go down. Well, at least it seems that way.
This is snowballing. This is absolutely snowballing. Elazer is trying to recover his drone count. Doesn't realize that there's probably, roaches on the way right now. I'm not sure what his scouting has been. It's too action-packed, and Serral is not really letting up the pressure either. By doing this, he not only potentially grabs himself more damage, furthering his cause, or he keeps Elazer distracted, not realizing there's a follow-up on the way.
Oh, Serral getting a nice detonation right there at the end as well. Elazer trying to micro against it. But he realizes the roach counterattack is going to be too much. Yeah, when you have no queens, you have no roach warn. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to trickle out a couple Zerglings, maybe make a spine crawler, but when you're economically behind, then you lose the third base. You're still at a lower drone count. You would never win the game in the long run. So Serral obtains a quick 1-0 advantage right here over Elazer.
Yeah. Yesterday we kind of said with his win against Protoss player Hero that he is done losing, but we were still kind of questioning the ZVZ aspect. Well, it seems like he really did just decide, I'm done losing. Like, back on track, back to defeating Elazer against someone who has previously been very comfortable against, looked really dominating in that first game.
Yeah, you said it, right? It's snowballing. We see it very commonly in games of StarCraft 2, but especially in the mirror matchups, it can happen when both players are making the same units, and especially when the units are as fast as Zerglings. Yeah, it's the player with more units that tends to end up winning, right? So losing that queen right there, losing a couple of drones to a couple of banelings, all of it adds up very, very quickly. So Serral said, well, I'm just going to rinse and repeat. Maybe see if I can obtain the victory right here, right now, and that's exactly what ended up going down. Small mistake right there for Elazer. He obviously knows what he did wrong, and now, I'll be surprised if he makes the mistake again in the next game. Yeah, wow. You can't really beat yourself up too much, right, over a game like that.
No, I mean, I think it's actually hard to beat yourself up about the matchup, against losing against Serral in general, and then letting, just kind of any game, any matchup, any player kind of snowball. It does happen. So Elazer got to shake that one off. Serral looking to not only grab this 1-0, but of course 2-0, and again, make it so much easier for him to just get into the playoffs. That would just be nice and sweet. But we still have game 2 to play out on Gressfon. Once again, we are on top of the Polish Zerg in the top left. For Team Liquid, he is Elazer.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner makes some noise for Serral.
Not just some, a lot.
Yeah. He's getting more cheers than our Polish player, it feels like.
Serral, he's definitely accrued quite a few fans. He's won a couple of tournaments.
He's done all right for himself.
He's kind of cool. Yes, thank you guys so much for showing up. I mean, still kind of early. I don't know, you guys partying out last night. You're just making sure you got here nice on time.
I know Serral was doing an autograph session yesterday as well, and the queue was very, very long. Yeah, there were a lot of people ready to get Serral's signature, and I mean, who can blame him, right? Even if you don't follow StarCraft 2 very closely, there's obviously a StarCraft tournament going on here, but also a CSGO one. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the Counter-Strike guys also are well familiar with who Serral is, and they probably also lined up.
That's actually kind of true. CSGO commentators have actually been StarCraft fans in the past and still. But anyways, of course, we have the cooler game, so it's like, forget about them.
We get to micro mini units.
That's right. What do they do? Like, move across here? Like,
they get 1 Marine each? That's pathetic.
This game's so easy. So again, no early pools. Let's talk about until we grab those third bases. The other option that would come off the back of this very basic opener would be a walling off of the natural with Roach Warren, and then a bit of ambiguity as far as, are you going Roaches? Are you going, a Nidus Worm? Are you going for a Spire? It seems to have fallen off. Again, also the maps playing a part. It's a bit of a big wall off, as our observer just showed us. I believe Elazer did manage to get it down before Solar's Ling all in, though, so it is still possible. Yeah,
the hatchery now also spreads that creep ever so slightly quicker, which actually does help out quite a bit in the ZVZ matchup. Sometimes when you especially go for a spawning pool first into a hatchery, sometimes you can't get the wall off in time, but I don't suspect we're going to see a whole lot of that. If I were to make a guess, I think we're going to see third bases here coming down for both players very shortly, just because it is overall the better build order.
Well, Serral went up to the gas, but didn't actually grab speed. Okay, well, no, he's just a bit later to it, actually.
Yeah, did he prioritize the third hatch? No, he actually got the third hatch a little bit later. That's interesting.
He was
just sitting on the gas?
I mean, I don't want to say it because it doesn't sound right, but Serral's making a mistake.
Serral making a mistake. Can't believe you said that, At least you implied it.
I cautiously implied it. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, you know, it's 10 seconds between the speed. That might not matter, but I think we've seen, we've seen a lot of ZVZs over the 13 years of StarCraft. Going on 13 years, that has happened. But, you know, make it 20, 25, whatever that is. I mean, yeah, that actually could be a big deal. If this was the game that Elazer decided to pile on the pressure, get some revenge for last game, then it absolutely would be. But, I mean, they both get the same amount of links so far, really identical build orders aside from that speed.
Yeah, as long as you have a couple of banelings ready to go, I think Serral will be A-okay here. But it is definitely noteworthy that his link speed is a little bit later than it probably should have been. Zerglings right here, playing around the hatchery, running circles around it. A little bit of an adventure right there for those units in the red. But yeah, not a whole lot of links right now on the back of this for Elazer, so the Zergling speed for Serral is going to finish up in time.
Yep.
No Evo chambers yet, though. That is kind of surprising. I mentioned earlier that normally, at least in the past, again, we haven't seen this matchup all too much in Europe, but at least in the past, people would go for an Evo chamber right around the time that the Baling Nest would finish up. But apparently neither of the two players right here opting to do that.
Well, there's always a chance that it was just a couple seconds later, which so far is the case for Serral, but also that they were trying to scout their opponent, deal with a scout of their own. So obviously Serral just got scouted, maybe he wanted to wait, or that they were like really insisting on doing something else and then had to like kind of change their minds. Like all of those things are options, as we have a lot of trickery in this matchup. Right now, Serral doing the more typical build, Elazer doing his thing, basically. Roach Horn and Lair, no evolution chamber.
Yeah, that Lair is obviously going to allow him to go for a variety of units as well. Maybe he'll go for Mutas, maybe he'll even go for a Nidus network. Those are the two most likely options. That being said, we don't really know exactly what's going on there yet. Serral playing what we consider to be the quote-unquote standard in this particular matchup. Elazer, by the way, has a Ling. He's going to now check. Yo, did you start up a Lair yet? Okay, you didn't? That's interesting.
That's a really great scout. I mean, that's a straight-up mistake, right? Like, Serral's supposed to take that out. Even if he's doing the most basic macro thing ever, you still don't want your opponent to know that and then perhaps have an opening. Lots of Overlords coming up for Serral right now. That sometimes does lead into a Roach Burst, but it also just seems like he's taking the opportunity to do so as he adds drones and then takes some away from Elazer.
That was an interesting little engagement there for Serral, just sort of sprinkling in those banelings one at a time. No reaction right there from Elazer, so a lot of the drones do end up going down here. Serral looks at this, he's like, you know what, I need a couple more workers myself. His economy is looking fantastic right now on the back of this. Glial Reconstitution, which is Roach Speed, is going to finish up significantly before Serral's will, so Elazer is going to have a little bit of a timing attack in that area, but he won't have the +1 missile upgrade, and that's, like we were talking about, that's what he's been playing lately, and I'm still not convinced that that is the best way to approach the matchup. It's
feeling a little reminiscent of that game versus Solar, where we were thinking, okay, he's going to do this build, but then it basically got messed up, right? Like, he got hit, he got surrounded. It's going to be changed up into a Spire, so Serral continuing to dance around with his Lings, find more opportunities, also scout his opponent. I don't believe has gotten in there to see that it is a Spire. All he saw was that, yeah, okay, it's not Evolution Chamber, but the Spire play afterwards, that could be very tricky for him to figure out. Overseer is about to get that scout. Yeah, so he should see it.
I think he saw the timing of one of the gases in the third base, so he may already be thinking about it. He's going to be running the units on over, takes his fourth base as he sees his opponent's fourth base. I mean, this guy is fast. So this is the first person view of Serral, of course, and now he's spotted the Spire as well.
Yes, everything going according to plan. Wow, and he just goes right forward as well. Gets the surround, also dealing with the roaches that he did see going across the map. So he made sure he had enough to actually defend that. He gets the cancel on the Spire. He's taking care of the roach attack. He gets everything, basically. Serral gets everything. He's Serral.
Yep. No, this is a fantastic situation right now for the finisher. That Spire is going to start up again, but obviously within vision right there of those Zerglings, so Serral knows exactly what he is playing against, but now he's got an attack lined up. Normally this Roach Speed attack would hit, well, he's going to go for a Spire of his own, but normally that Roach Speed attack would hit as the Mutas are already out. Now Serral should be able to march across the map without really, well, a whole lot of air resistance, and I don't even know if there's enough units on the ground. Look at the army supply count, 80 versus 50.
Yeah, actually, Serral is just, he's got such an opportunity here. You know, defensive corrosive biles can be a problem, but he's catching a laser before the Ravagers are done. Snipes 2 out of 4 of them and might just win the game right here, right now. If he doesn't, he does have a backup plan. His own Spire could be for some safety corruptors, could be some Omega play, basically just styling on the guy because the world is Serral's oyster.
He can pretty much do whatever he likes. Now, He has not won this game yet. Economically speaking, Elazer is still fine. The defender's advantage, of course, is also very good for our Polish Zerg, but Serral might just be able to overwhelm this, right? He's hunting for a mineral line right now. He's trying to trade out armies. Spires are finishing up on both sides of the map, but I don't think it really matters.
No, they're both still just spamming the roach button, right? As Elazer desperately tries to defend, and Serral realizes, well, I can just kill you right here, right now. Has the upgrade lead in about 30 seconds. We'll have yet another upgrade lead. Everything is going well for Serral. He is truly done losing. He is looking for that 2-0.
Yeah, sometimes players have that, right? They need that, that they almost are in a tournament losing position before they really power up. And Serral right here looking absolutely dominant in this best of 3 series.